I'm Mads, and I run Mads Watch Photography, and I've been running Advice Sunday for this is be the third installment, second installment, no, fourth installment. I can't keep track. I don't even know what day it is. It's a fabulous time. I am here to talk about the beginner photographer and to tell you that you don't suck and that it is a lot more to what meets the eye when it comes to photography, especially when you get into all of the nitty-gritty when it comes to settings, it comes to gear, and it comes to everything else. And I would say the first piece of advice that I would give you, I'm going to say advice because I don't want to say it's tips or tricks or whatnot. This isn't a tutorial of how to get better. This is more of an advice, kind of a pep talk of, you know, you're gonna have problems and you're gonna have times where you're a little frustrated, and it's okay. So the first piece of advice I would give you is don't give up. You're gonna get discouraged. You're going to have times where things are gonna be super blurry, or you just feel like you can't get the right settings, or you just feel like you just can't get it right. And there's gonna be a lot of times, and I have to say as well with this is don't compare yourself to other photographers, other influencers, content creators, what have you. Do not compare yourself. I find myself sometimes comparing myself to other photographers that I see on Instagram, and I go down that rabbit hole and I think I'll never be that great. Don't do that. Get your mind out of that. You have to learn, you have to create, you have to build and grow and do everything just like you do with anything else. It's like riding a bike. You just got to learn how to do it, and then you get your two wheels going and you can do it. Tip number 2 is a really good one, or advice number 2 or something. Do your research. If you're just getting into buying a camera, I suggest buying lenses and buying straps and bags and everything to that effect. I suggest do your research on everything. And this piece of advice and the next piece of advice will go hand in hand with each other, but do your research. I do my research all the time if I'm going to get a new camera or a new lens. I see which one might be best suited for me. There's options out there galore, and it does get overwhelming. But you just have to figure out what do you want to shoot? What do you want to photograph the most? What might be better for you? Are you doing landscapes? Would a wide angle lens be better? Are you trying to do macro lens, or telephoto lens be better? Wildlife photography, a telephoto lens. You know, you just kind of have to play around with it, kind of do your research, see what kind of lenses might be better for you or your camera. Even if you just have a camera around handy, see, you know, there's some cheaper options out there, there's more expensive options. Just kind of do your research, make sure you're not getting a dud in the process. I've done that. I bought the Nifty 50 for the Sony. That thing sucks. And I had a lot of people were like, yeah, Nifty 50, go for it. Don't do it. Now, as I said, this last piece of advice and this piece of advice goes hand in hand. You're gonna have times where you buy pieces of gear and you just don't like it. It is a very big trial and error period, and you're gonna have that time where you're gonna be, you know, testing gear, you're gonna think it's gonna be great, and it just isn't for you. I've had that happen. I've bought Pelican cases that are waterproof, and they just weren't working for me. They were too big, they weren't small enough for what I do. And I've had straps like that. I've bought Peak Design straps. I have my wrist Peak Design strap, which I absolutely love. But then I also have the regular Peak Design strap, which doesn't really fit with my normal trail photography, nature photography, from what I have learned over the years. It's just all of a trial and error period. Same with lenses. You're gonna find lenses like the Nifty 50 where you might think that it is the best thing out there and that was gonna be well suited for you, but then you learn down the line that you absolutely hate it. Fourth piece of advice, if you are just getting into photography and just getting into the cameras, interchangeable lenses, stuff like that, it's okay to shoot in automatic. You can learn down the line the manual settings all you want, and I suggest that. I suggest you maybe take a class, or there's YouTube videos, tutorials on manual settings, and I suggest maybe learning how to do the manual settings, but it's okay to get used to the camera with the automatic settings. I mean, I still shoot with automatic sometimes. It's not unheard of. There's times where the manual's just kind of being weird and I can't get it to the right setting, but the auto setting just hits it on perfect. So it's not a bad thing if you are doing auto settings instead of manual at first. But I do suggest, you know, learning your camera, learning the aperture, the ISO, the white balance, the shutter, everything. It just gives you a better understanding of what you're doing and gives you a better understanding of your camera, kind of working with your camera, and yeah. Fifth piece of advice, and this is like one of the most important pieces of advice I can give you. You're gonna see a lot of stuff out there that tells you that when you go into photography, you need to pick one category, one niche, and go with it. I have seen it a lot. I have, you know, explored all kinds of stuff with the photography world the last 12 years I've been doing it, and I've seen a lot of people go, you know, you if you're gonna get into this really hard, you really need to just find something that you're good at and do it. And I'm here to tell you that that is bogus, that's bullshit. Go for what you want to do. I do landscapes, I've done portraits, I've done auto photography, automotive photography, I do shoot pictures of motorcycles, I do a lot of nature photography, landscape photography, I think I said landscape already. I do bird photography, trail photography, I do a lot. I mainly go into nature and wildlife. I do have my one set one that I do quite frequently, but I have an array of stuff. I've been taught to be diverse in everything that you do. And that's why I'm not afraid to go shoot newborn pictures or wedding pictures or engagement or family or what have you. I've done it just to get the experience and see if maybe I want to do it, maybe I don't. And I suggest, you know, if you go try cityscapes or landscapes, what have you, and something that you might be interested in. Sports photography, I've done that. That's fun time. Sports photography. Maybe it's something that you're very interested in as a whole. Go try it. If you don't like it, too bad, you know, on to the next one. There's so many possibilities with it. There's so many different things to do, you know, with the photography world. And I hate to see people just limit themselves to one thing. My bonus tip to you today is there's no right way into photography. There's no right way to do it. There's always a way to create. It's beautiful. I love photography just for the fact that it's an artist's world. It's a way to be creative. It's a way to get out there. It's a way to explore. And it's a way to just have fun, you know, just have fun with it, get creative with it. See, mess with your settings, you know, if maybe you shot it a little too dark, but maybe it looks that great that way, or maybe you shot it a little too light, but it looks fantastic, or you have a blur to it, but it's kind of cool because it tells a story. Just kind of look at it with open eyes when you are editing your photos. Make it happen, make it creative, you know. Don't just get in one set stone. I feel like we see a lot of these kind of like textbook photos where they're very crisp and clear and they look nice and you definitely know what it is, but I love seeing the creativity in photography, and I love seeing, you know, photos just come alive. And also, you know, a bonus tip, there's all kinds of editing systems out there. You don't have to just go with Adobe Photoshop. There's Adobe Photoshop Elements that I use that you buy one time and you have it forever. You don't have to subscribe to something. There's Adobe Photoshop Express. There's a free thing of Lightroom on the phones. There's a whole bunch of possibilities. Some camera companies actually have their own editing systems, and I bought a Wacom system and I just started messing with that too. They have an editing system. There's so many different editing systems out there, so don't think you have to spend all this money to do an editing system just for that fact. And that's also something, you know, get online, do a class, try and mess, but just kind of play with it too. That's how I've learned with my Photoshop Elements, is I've just kind of played with it over the years, and I've learned what settings I love and what I don't. And yeah, happy photo taking. Before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of different nature. I'll be doing wildlife, landscapes, all kinds of different advice Sundays. And then I'm gonna eventually branch out and do some motorcycle adventure motorcycle advice Sundays, plus some camping, some travel, and stuff like that. So stay tuned and like and subscribe to this YouTube channel.